Alright, Skits. He's sunbathing. I know. It's lovely, isn't it? Eh? Oh, you're going to sleep? You're going to sleep? Okay, welcome back to part 2. And this is where we take out this old Stator. As you can see, if we compare it to the new Stator, it's buggered. But before we do that, don't forget, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notifications, give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget, put your comments down in the comment section. Love to hear your thoughts. And let me know if you've had to do this yourself. And let's get started, shall we? So, as you can see, that's the old Stator in the Stator cover. And as you can see, somebody's been naughty and put gasket shit around this, so I have a feeling this has already been off. And as you can see, comparing it to this one, that is slightly burnt out, as you can see. So these ones here have certainly overheated, and I'm just wondering actually if those three there are actually working. I don't think they are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one out, we're going to put that one in. Now these bolts here are torque cap bolts. So you got your hex cap bolt there, torque cap bolts there. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out the size we want. Might be a little loose, and that looks perfect. And we're going to take a swig of coffee, because I've got a swig of coffee here. Ah, lovely. And as you can see, it's another glorious day. And the first thing we're going to do is undo these bolts here. So make sure our ratchet's going the right way. And 1. And 2. And 3. And 4. So there we go. That's our 4 bolts there done. And now we need to do our hex key one down the bottom. Is it that one? Yeah, it is that one. Stick you back on there a second. And there we are. So that's those loose. I'm going to use my T-handled torque drives and stuff to make it easier to take these out, like so. And I've got a box over here to put my bits in. So, oh, this is dropping one down there. There we go, and that one in there, and the next one in here, followed by this one, and then followed by this. And if you notice here, that's actually a guard, because as the magneto rotates around here, you don't want it catching the wires, because it will rip the wires out and then kind of defeat the object now, won't it? That one. And it is that one. So there we go. I'm going to do that one. That's a very short bolt, look. And then, hey presto, out comes our lovely little Stator. I'll give that a clean in a second. So there you can see that. Actually, they look quite swollen, so I'm wondering if something's got inside. They've expanded and burnt the insulation, so it's got inside the insulation. So there we go. So first things obviously you need to do is check to make sure they look the same, and they certainly do look the same. This is actually an aftermarket part, it's not a genuine Honda OEM part. The genuine Honda OEM part was £315. This came, I can't remember where actually this came from. If I remember, I'll let you know. But it's definitely for my bike, and I think it's classified as a racing one, so it came, I'm sure it came from a racing. I'll find out, I'll let you know. I'll find out later on. And as you can see, the difference, that is just nasty. That's just really nasty. Now, what you'll notice as well is that I have my rectifier here, and I have also taken the plug off the rectifier. Now, there's a reason for that, because if you notice here, the plugs are different. So, and the connectors are different. So what I've got to do is I've got to take the plug off this. As I say, I've already taken the plug off this. Now with the Hondas, you have a device in here, and I should have a small screwdriver. So you've got a little catch clasp here. So as you pull that out, it allows you to get a small screwdriver down inside, which releases this, and then it just pulls out even more, which I'll get my small screwdriver and show you. So I shall be back in a second. I'm back. Right, little screwdriver. So I'll show you on this one, because this is similar to this. You've got a little kind of clasp there, and then inside you have, I'm not sure you'll be able to see this, but inside you have a kind of pin, plastic pin, if that's what you can call it. If you see it on this side there, and all you have to do is get a small screwdriver and kind of push it in until you can then pull out the cable, and you need obviously about 67 pairs of hands to do this. And the whole point, you kind of have to fiddle around until you get it in there. There she is, I can see it, she's just there. You really do have to fiddle them out with this. There we go. And then once you get it in the right place, which that looks like it's now in the right place, this wire should, he says, nope, pop out. Won't spend too long doing this. This is the fiddliest bit about this job. Now obviously I could, if I wanted to, just cut the plugs off and resolder them, but I don't want to do that because that would create an extra joint, and that would make it unnecessary, and also could cause more issues later on with said charging system. Come on. As you can tell, this is not the most easiest job in the world to do. At the best of times. Come on, release. Please release me, let me go. Yeah, no, that's it, I've started to sing now. That's it. Video's over. Everybody's left because I've started singing. You loose now, there you go, you see? And it just pulls out. And that's it, and then you do the same, and as you go along this pulls out even more, like so. There we go, it's pulled out, and then you do the same. This is now loose, and you do the same this side. But that's the old stator. We don't want that. You can go over there. We want the new stator. Now obviously, as I said, unfortunately the pins are very much different. So what we need to do is put a new plug on. So I've got a new plug, and unfortunately I can only get a 4-way plug. So what we need to do is take all the plugs, all the spade connectors out of here, which again is the same, it's just there's a very small little plastic tab. That's the word I'm looking for, plastic tab. And you just have to feed your screwdriver in the plastic tab while applying some pressure to the actual connector, and it should just slide out. As you can tell, it can be a bit fiddly. There we go. And then the same on this side. Now hopefully these connectors, he says. Hopefully these connectors will just fit straight into this block, so I won't have to touch those connectors at all. So here's my new block that I'm going to use. So one side's for the female, one side's for the male. Just got white eye because I'm sweating like God knows what. And so these should fit in, and by the look of it they will do. That way around, I believe. There we go, that's in. That's my alarm going off. That's the next one. That's in, and then that's the last one. Whatever, if I put it the right around. So that's good. So those I don't need to touch. That's done. So what I will do is I will now put this on here, and there's a reason for that, which you'll see in a second. Now, so what I need to do is I need to change these, and the easiest way to change these is just to take the old connectors off, and you can do that using a pair of pliers, he says, and a screwdriver. Where's my small screwdriver? And what you need to do is just really peel these back, because they're not soldered on, they're just crimped on. Now be careful, because this is where you usually stab yourself with the screwdriver and cause yourself a tremendous amount of injury. So that's the first one done. So that's that bit done. And now that bit, there we go. That's those peeled off. And then if you just crimp it one way, you should be able to just slide the connector off, like so. There we go. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to cut these wires. I want to keep the wires the same length. I really don't want to be cutting the wires, because I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardise or cause a fault. I don't. You see what I mean? Just stabbed myself right in the nail. I don't want to jeopardise anything on this charging system. So that's why I want to keep the wires the same length. Now, some people might have different views. If you do, let me know. I'm more than willing to listen. There we go. That's the other one off. It'll be interesting to hear different views. I really will. Hey, look at that. Even those two are different lengths. I might have to trim that wire down at the outer insulation. Just wondering if I'm bleeding now. And now the last one. There you go. Did that one better than I did the other one. There we go. Did it come off? Nope. Come off now. Almost. And we're off. Right. So let's have a look at those very different lengths of insulation there. So I want them all the same length. So I'm going to measure this one. So here's my little wire stripper that has the measuring device on it. Push that in. That looks right. It's not too bad. It's that one. There we go. so roughly all the same length. And then I'm going to get the male connectors from the new bag and put them in. So the bottom, oh, what's that? It's a fly. So the bottom connector here goes around the wire, as you can see. Now what you can use is a pair of pliers on these ones if you want, like so, to start off with, before you then crimp them with the wire crimper, like so. I'm going to crimp it down and make sure it folds over nicely. So remember, it's got to go inside the plug. Right, so that's that bit done. And then we're just going to crimp over that side and crimp over this side. I don't know what's going on down there. It seems to be like a battle of, I don't know, insects down there. Seems really weird. So the last thing I want to happen is, I don't want this to come out. Hey, look at that, perfect fit. So last thing I don't want the wire to disconnect from there and cause any issues later on, because honestly I've got enough problems as it stands. As you can tell, I've had to take the whole bike to pieces. Dear. So that's wire number one. Come in a bit more. That's wire number two. That's wire number two done by the look of it. There we go. Nicely crimped into place. And that's not coming out of there. Wire number three. And then we should be set for putting the stator back into there. Connector. Nope, it's a cunt with wings, aka a wasp. Not quite sure what to make of me, and if it fucking stings me, it's gonna die. There we go. So there we have our stator wires done. So the reason why I've put this in here is what I'm going to do now, so I know that I get these in the right ends. I am going to feed these in from this way. Should go in that way. So 1, 2, and number 3. So that's in, that's in. They're all in. And then hopefully we should plug together like so. And of course I've got my good old multimeter here, so there's no point bolting it up without testing everything. So my good old multimeter, connect to connect, stick it on continuity, and then we're going to go in one end. We got connection, we got connection, and we got connection. Perfectly happy with that. There we go. So that's our plugs now done. So now what we can do is, put our multimeter away a second, we can put our stator into our stator cover. That's what we're going to do next. But before we do that, for some reason I've forgotten how to speak, I'm going to get a rag so I can give all this here a good clean. So I shall be back in 1 second.